Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of Tame That Tongue.
I like that. Tame that tongue. Woo!
Yes. Now we gotta spin the prize wheel.
And which tongue are we talking about today?
Oh, the prize wheel landed on the boasting tongue.
The boasting tongue. Oof, that makes me think of Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar. He was too much of a Chad, and it did not work out for him.
No, it did not. He
'Cause
actually went
was a
insane,
little
didn't
bit-
he?
He went insane in the membrane, yep. And it did not bode well for him,
No.
but for 7 years. And he kind
Wow.
of, but yeah, boasting is a big topic because we can, it's when we get a little bit too much of our own selves. We get a little bit on our high horses. It's when we think that we control our destiny, I guess you could say, our fate,
Yep.
that we are in complete control of our faculties and capabilities, and everything, every good thing that happens to us is somehow our own doing, is our own fault.
Right.
And it can also trap us into the mindset that bad things, ooh, I like that too, that bad things are also our fault. Yeah, sometimes bad things just happen. But that's kind of like, let's bring it back before we get into the larger sphere. Let's just kind of talk about the general. What are some of the passages that we find in Scripture? We mentioned Nebuchadnezzar and his pride, and how one day he was up on his roof and he was like, "Hey, you know what? I built this all. This is great. Like, you guys check this out."
But specifically by
this.
He says, by my own mighty power.
Yeah.
I have built this. He doesn't even mention all of his subjects that have built it. It's all him. And it just makes me think of he's just look what I did. Just plop. Oh, there's my beautiful city. I did it all by myself.
Right. As the kids would say, he thought he had the Riz, but
the Riz.
And
he absolutely did not have the Riz.
And well, he basically shot himself in the foot with that. And
for real.
And that's when God cut him down. There's a Johnny Cash song about that. And he went on all fours for 7 years, ate grass. His nails grew out like the talons of a vulture. And he kind of lost his mind there until he came to terms. He was able to come back to his senses and realize, oh, this is not my own doing. I did not build that. That is not my beautiful house. That is not my beautiful car.
That is not my beautiful wife.
Right.
Yes, Andy Rue. You quote that. Just don't sing it.
Okay. I will quote it. Won't sing it. But yeah, it's I was thinking about this and some of the struggles that I went through. But let's get some more scripture in here so that we can get off to a good start.
I've got a couple verses. Let's go with the first one that's at the top, which is Proverbs 27:2. Let another praise you and not your own mouth, someone else and not your own lips. I actually think that is from the NLT. I think it is. I kind of want to look it up now in my other version. Proverbs 27:22.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that humility of, not jumping to conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi there, Man of Spill. Thanks for watching over on Twitch.
Hey, yay. We love Man of Spill.
Yes, go check it out. Go check out his channel. He's growing. God's doing amazing things over there on the Man of Spill family network of channels. Maybe that's a little bit secret, but anyway, yeah, there's something to be said about humbling yourself so that other people can hype you up, and not your own doing. So it reminds me also of what Jesus said when it says, don't be sitting in the high place in the house. Like, don't go sit in the big chair. Go sit in the low chair so that the master of ceremonies, maybe it's even the bride and groom or whoever, the owner of the house can tell you, hey, why don't you come sit up here? And that also avoids if you accidentally sit in the wrong, well, if you if you sit in the big seat and you're not even the big man, it totally avoids also the mistake that you can make that way, even if somebody doesn't bring you up. Like that'd be kind of embarrassing. Like if you think you're the guest of honor and you occupy the best seat in the house or the big chair. I'm going to call it the big chair.
The big chair. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
If you think you deserve the big chair and you're not really the guest of honor, and then somebody has to tell you to move, like the guest of honor is here. I don't know why you're sitting there. We can't boast about that's like we're boasting by our actions. Like we're thinking, oh, I deserve this spot. I'm so great. I need this spot.
The most interesting thing about that when I think of like my own walk with God is if you are, let's say, like you don't know it, when you're actually due praise, you have no idea, because you're just so busy doing what you're doing that it's not even come across your mind. I know the times where I've actually had like real true praise, I'm always shocked. Like it's like, oh, wow, okay, I guess I did that. Yeah, that's amazing. But it wasn't me because there's no way I could do that on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I am not capable of that. And then it's just like, even those moments where I'm like super articulate, and those of you that have seen me on bad days, I'm not articulate. So I know that when I am articulate, it's just amazing because it's like, oh, God is with me. I can do this because God is with me.
Praise the Lord.
It is it's amazing to work with God like that too, and to be in sync with him like that. Let's go to another verse, which I think will expound on some more things here. Let's go to
clickety clackety.
I'm going to save that one actually. Sorry, we're going to back up. Let's read the rest of let's read Proverbs 1 with 2. Do you want to read that or should I?
Where am I going here? Proverbs 1.
No, 27, 1 and 2.
Proverbs 27,
1 and 2.
Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. Let someone else praise you, and not your own mouth, an outsider, and not your own lips.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The other one I want to read is 2 Corinthians 10:18, which I think is also really core of what we're talking about.
10:18, that says, when people commend themselves, it doesn't count for much. The important thing is for the Lord to commend them. Maybe your version's a little bit different. That's NLT. Let me go back to NIV and the RESPECT.
When people boast about themselves, it doesn't count for much. Mine says the same thing. But when the Lord commends someone, that's different.
To be commended, to be boasted about, to be appreciated, to be congratulated, praised. For it is not the one who commends himself who is approved. Like, hey, everybody, I've got all the right qualifications for this job. I just heard back from a potential employer. Unfortunately, I did not get the job, but they had some nice things to say. So that felt really nice. They appreciated my hard work and attention to detail, but alas, it didn't get me a job. They went with somebody else. But to be able to let somebody else tell you about your good work and even when God says it, you've done well, my good and faithful servant. It's like, yeah, you couldn't buy that for $1 million.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that. That's really not great. But I think there is a certain value that I've held when there are really discriminating and purposeful people that don't know you that well, but can see things about you that maybe you can't see because you're like you're too into your own bubble. And I know when, like, even when I got kind of in this really interesting growth mindset for about the last year, well, probably longer than that, but I know it's been something where I've actually gone to my friends and said, "Hey, tell me like my worst quality." I wanted to see if there's overlap. And
Ooh.
like I know friends hear that and they're like, "This is a total setup." Like, I don't want to answer that, but it's just, what is my worst quality? Because I'm in a growth mindset. I want to work on what I can't see,
Right.
And like, I actually was having a conversation with a friend not that long ago, and I ended up having to apologize because I was like, "Oh, I'm in that growth mindset, but my friend wasn't." So I had to apologize because the way I said something actually would have been like totally okay for me, but it was not okay for my very dear friend. So I had to
Mm.
back up and go, "Okay, I am really sorry. I am in a growth mindset." I literally said that, and I said that definitely was something that I am ready to hear and accept and listen to, and you're not, and I am so sorry because it really hurt your feelings, and I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Mm.
And they definitely accepted my apology, praise God, because it was a true mistake and they could tell that I was very, very sorry. But it's very interesting, isn't it? Those critiques that even God can give you if you're not in that growth mindset and God's trying to critique you and mold you and shape you. And if you're not ready to receive it, you're not even going to notice it. Like, it is not going to get through. That message from God is not going to get through.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we stay in that growth mindset. In fact, that kind of brings me up to Gideon, which is another interesting story that's in our book that's brought out.
Mm-hmm.
Gideon was not in the growth mindset, was he? Gideon was like, "How dare you, God? You want to do what to my army? You want to shrink it by how much? Are you kidding? We will not win. We have been winning because our army is so great." And you're like totally saying that. And God's like, Gideon, calm down, calm down. That's why we got to do it this way. We have to make it so the Israelites cannot boast about themselves. They need to know, and all of them, not just the warriors, right? Not just the people fighting. They need to be like, "Wow, we only did this with this many men. Can you believe it? Praise God, because there is just no way we could have been this victorious without God's help." And that is exactly what they needed to learn. All of the Israelites, every single one of them, needed to know that this was coming from God. It was God's power and not their own. Because they had amazing warriors. I mean, obviously they did, because they did get so far. But that was also amazing warriors because of what God did to them. Like how he was making them stronger, how he was making them more precise, That ability does not come from our own human ability at all.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about the boasting tongue. And yeah, it's interesting to see how God knows what he's capable of. And in order for Gideon to recognize that and to get him to the point where he could say, "Okay, God, like the only way this is going to happen is if you do this." I mean, he didn't recognize that until God did something that was beyond his control.
Yeah.
So,
and just for numbers, the people who don't know the story of Gideon, He went from 22,000 warriors to 300. And technically the 300 were broken down into thirds, so it was 100 each. Which is like nothing in comparison.
Ooh, what's this Bible verse that Mana Spill's talking about? The excellency of the power of God may be of God and not us.
Oh man!
Bonus points for anybody who can
answer that.
Give the reference.
I need to look that up now because I do not know that verse. At least not that version. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I started Googling it and it totally popped up. It is. Wait, I'm going to see if anybody else can answer. I'll give you a hint. It is in the New Testament. That's all I'm going to say.
Nuevo Testamente. 2 Corinthians 4:17. There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God is good. Oh, amen.
Amen. Ernie was praying for us because we were having a lot of technical difficulties.
Thank you, Ernie.
We can only boast that this episode is brought to you by God himself because we had every technical issue you could have except for losing internet.
Yay.
So praise God that we're here right now.
Well, what do you want to dive into tonight?
What? Did I hear dive?
Dive.
Oh, that makes me think of something very specific that we haven't played because we couldn't before, like our original one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that we should dive
right
into Stranded Deep because I just love this image that you made because it is so crisp and nice and it's such a conglomerate of everything.
Yes, the internet people did a great job of getting that to us. So,
all right, I am launching. I'm going to present. I'm going to share. I'm going to share my screen. Yep.
God be working. It'd be like that sometimes, Ernie. God be working.
All right, we are on day 10 and we are surviving. Yay.
Oh, did that not work?
That totally didn't work.
Oh, okay.
It should have worked.
I don't think I put in the right one there.
Okay.
Anywho, this is.
Yay, we're back. Yay.
Oh yeah, this is the one where.
Okay, I'm hunting
totally
something.
Pixelated on my end.
Oh, I was hunting rocks. I came here looking for rocks, didn't I? Okay. Do you want to play the other one then?
Yeah, see, well, it gets so pixelated that I can't even tell sometimes. Well, I got my little hut here.
Yeah, you do have your hut there. It's hutty.
Well, I mean, the split screen is very nice.
It looks good on stream, but if it doesn't work for you to be able to play it, then it doesn't work. But the stream looks good. Okay. So
Okay, I forget what I'm doing here.
Yeah, that's the problem when we have two different games going.
And this is a.
Oh,
sorry.
Paused.
Oh no! Stop it.
Oh, I'm like running around and look, I have a broken leg. That's right. We were up on the hill and you saved me. Forgot about that. Oh, I have a pickaxe.
Hold on, something is. Okay, that was weird.
What happened?
I'm not used to the Steam interface.
Oh.
Okay, how do I do the... Oh, there it is. Okay, I probably need to get something to eat soon. All right, what do we got in these boxes?
Yeah, I found a ration and
empty water bottle.
Cool. I mean, it's nice to have a water bottle.
Yeah, this gets so pixelated on my end.
All right, let me go save. And we'll go to the other one.
Yeah, it's better when I run it on my end.
Oh.
Mr. Maestro is in here, around here in these parts.
Is he? Okay, so I need to stop this and then we're going to go to the other one. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. That's a really good pun on our game that we're playing, The Deep is Shallow, with the Lord around. Amen. And then, although these are set out of order, I'm going to play it like you guys said it this way. And then Manispill says it really be like the way that it is. It really do be like the way that it is. Okay, now I said it right. I got tongue-tied. All right, so we're going to play online. I'm hosting my game. Continue game. Private region.
That's weird. Am I supposed to be seeing your game, like on my screen still?
No, I exited the game. You should exit the game.
Like I'm seeing your mouse control it on my screen.
Oh, can you exit? Disconnect?
That's really weird. Why is it doing that?
Okay, I'm gonna quit and restart.
What do you know?
I'm gonna restart the game because we were still connected and it wasn't like disconnecting us.
Huh.
That was weird. I have seen that happen. I was playing with somebody else and that happened. And it's like, I could also take control of their, like, whatever they were doing, which is weird.
Right. Like full on screen sharing? Like, are we talking scammer?
No. Like we were playing a game and like they basically hand off the controls to me.
Okay.
So I know we don't have like our big congregation like we had last time, which was great. And we really enjoyed that. We should have somebody be joining here in a little bit.
Word. All rights reserved. This video game.
Yep, we do have a friend coming. We have Tiny Tabernacle coming again. Yay.
Bless the Lord, all my soul. All right.
Okay, continue game. Private region, creating session. Can you add our Brett to the stream?
Hey, Brett.
Oh, I got to give you this password. That's what I got to do.
Play online.
You're going to join a session.
Loading sessions.
And then I'm giving you this code, which is... I'm not going to say it on the stream.
Hey.
Hello, Tiny Tabernacle. Brett, how are you?
I'm good. My guitar teacher had to like reschedule his lesson. Like we were gonna meet like an hour later than usual. So, but then he like messaged me again. And he was like, "I got a flat tire." So.
Oh no.
So your whole you could have been with us this whole time?
Yeah, I could have been, but I didn't know. Like I thought we were gonna do it at like 8:45 instead, and I was just practicing beforehand. So then he texted me a couple minutes ago that he got a flat tire, so we can't make it at all.
Wow, that's really loud music over there. All right.
Sorry.
All right, we are here. We are ready. Let's go.
We're in the system.
Almost.
In the system.
Are you guys gonna play Stranded Deep or whatever it's called?
We are. Yes.
Yeah. Are you screen shareable?
It's loading. I have to wait until it loads, actually.
Sure. Apparently, Ernie's playing on his own machine. I don't.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know that we'll be able to interact in any meaningful way.
No.
The sync is loading. We have loaded 100%. The sink world. Sometimes it takes a long time to sink the world.
It does. It is sinking though.
Yeah.
While that is doing its thing though, we could jump into Esther if you wanted to.
Esther.
Yes.
How does
That
that
is-
relate to boasting?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. Let's go read Esther 5, 11, and 12.
Maybe about Haman boasting or being prideful or something. Is that's
Yes.
Esther, right?
That's the story.
I always get
Yes,
Esther
that's-
and Ruth mixed up.
That's okay. We are actually going to talk about Haman, but there's technically 5 ways that Haman, is that how you say it? Haman? 5
That's
ways
how
that
I always heard.
Hey, man.
Haman.
Saint
But it
Rome.
is in Esther 5, 11, and 12. If anybody would like to jump over there, we could do that right now.
Oh, I didn't know that you could make a sleeping bag.
Yes, you can. All right, I've got the NLT version up. But because of how it's divided, I'm technically going to start in 10. Then Haman gathered together his friends and Zeresh his wife, and boasted to them about his great wealth and his many children. He bragged about the honors the king had given him and how he had been promoted over all the other nobles and officials. Then Haman added, "And that's not all. Queen Esther invited only me and the king himself to the banquet she prepared for us, and she invited me to dine with her and the king again tomorrow." Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can't help it. I've continued reading and seeing kind of a parallel between what happened between, I suddenly cannot say her name, Delilah and...
Samson.
Yes, Delilah and Samson, because then...
Delilah and Samson.
Because then Haman's wife, Zeresh, goes on to say, and all of his friends, so Zeresh and all his friends say, "Set up a sharpened pole that stands 75 feet tall, and in the morning ask the king to impale Mordecai on it. And when this is done, you can go on your merry way to the banquet with the king." This pleased Haman, and he ordered the pole set up. So, he has boasted so much. He's, under the influence of Satan to the extent that he's going to be like, "Oh, yeah, that's a great idea." He has boasted so much, I don't think he can even say no now.
That'll never backfire.
Not at all. Never. Man,
Pride comes before a fall.
quite literally. In fact, don't even some of those same people are in a plot to assassinate King Xerxes? Oh, it's finally loading.
Yes, day 5. We're in the dark.
Yeah.
This is much better.
I have to toggle over, so it's going to pause while I go to share.
And I need to change my input settings so I can actually use my controller.
Yes. So I know it's really dark on your screen, but there's Mr. Andy Rue. And here we are on the game that we were actually in a couple weeks ago when we did number 5, I think. Yeah.
Oh, there's the mystery box.
Yes. I believe there's a Wilson around here too.
I actually think Haman, isn't he related to the Amorites or something like that Saul was supposed to destroy, but he didn't, and there's he's related to them somehow. He's one of their great grandchildren or something of one of the kings that didn't die or something.
I don't know that, so I can't comment on that.
I think he is. I think maybe it talks about it in this, but anyways.
Can anybody watching confirm? That would be really great.
Yeah, there's always some family antics going on in the Bible.
Yeah, it's either in the story of Ruth or in the story of Esther. One of the bad guy or some bad guy in it is related to one of the peoples that Saul was supposed to kill, but he didn't. I always get Ruth and Esther mixed up.
That's okay. All right, so we're here on this island collecting stuff, I believe.
Oh, I need water.
Oh, yeah. What are my stats? Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. Do I have... You know what I really need, though? I need
the coconut.
I need to make a crude axe, actually, is what I need.
Oh,
So
that's right.
something I was thinking about with the Boasting Tongue is that you know, the Spirit Prophecy talks about how Satan started to, and it actually talks about this in the Bible a little bit. It talks about like not. There was some other verse I read in the New Testament that was talking about not taking credit for the good that we have in ourselves and giving glory to God or something like that. But I can't remember where it was. I was reading the New Living Translation. It was really clear that that's what it was talking about. But one of the things that Satan started doing is he started taking credit for the gifts that God had given him. You know, him being this glorious being. He started taking credit for the gifts that God had given him for belonging to himself rather than something that God had given him, and God giving God the glory. He started taking the glory for himself. So it's like he's like, I will ascend, I, all these I statements and
It's a
stuff
little
like
off
that,
topic,
glorifying
but
himself.
it is a little off topic, but I've always been so floored by that because I'm like, why would you want that responsibility that God has? Like, this is the entire universe we're talking about. Like,
Well, that's the thing. I don't think he actually wanted the responsibility.
doesn't seem like it.
I think he just wanted the.
He wanted all the praise and glory of it.
Right. The
I was just
power and
thinking-
prestige without the responsibility of actually, oh, this is like if you get a dog, you're gonna have to take care of it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to tell all his friends that he had a dog.
Yeah, I
But
was just
his
thinking about
friends
how
are
he was
God's
boasting
friends.
with, all the I statements. That's what I was thinking about boasting, because he was saying, I'm going to be great, and that sort of thing.
Andy Rue, can you post that comment that Manispill just said?
Hold on a second.
We really need a third person doing the posting because once I'm in game, it's really hard to toggle over in this one. It's not in if we're playing Ticket to Ride, but if we're in this one, it's harder.
Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar, he boasted too.
Yeah.
That's that one.
You mean the Great Babylon I Built syndrome?
Yes. This is not the Babylon I Built syndrome. I really like that. There's a comment I've seen on the internet, this is not your heaven. And it's commentary on what people's view of what heaven will be. And how you may not like the heaven that I would want.
Oh wow.
All right, if we leave these palms like on the thing, we can actually just take like a big palm frond, like all connected still.
Do we have a water still yet?
We do not. Let me see if I've got the things to
Because
do one.
I've got like one
I've
bar.
got a couple coconuts I just chopped down though.
Oh, you do? I grabbed one.
They're over where I just was. Let me see if we've got the...
I don't know where you was.
I was over here.
Oh,
this
okay.
way. There's like 2 on the ground. There's one right there, and there's another one somewhere over here. Oh, a rock. Not enough room in my inventory. Okay, I gotta go lay stuff down.
Oh, a Bible verse that I thought about earlier was the Bible says, it says in the New Testament, I don't know where, maybe it's quoting the Old Testament, but I'm not sure where, but I know it says, let him who glories glory in God. So like if you're giving praise to something, then give praise to God, not to yourself, and that sort of thing.
Yep. Oh, Mana posted one.
Here's some palms. Pretty palms.
And I think in Psalms 8 it says, it says God has made man a little lower than the angels and has crowned him with honor and glory. So like our
Mhm.
honor and glory comes from God, and that's sort of like that's what it's kind of inferencing, like right there, like
Yeah.
not from our own selves and that sort of thing.
So I'm not sure if there's a blue cloth in here. Oh, there is. Yes. Okay, I do have that. And I've got rocks. Yes, I can build one.
Praise the Lord.
I do need a coconut so I can make a coconut container, but I can get one.
Okay, I've got. You know, I think these trees can come down. They're not very.
The tall ones.
The tall ones, yeah. I'll take the tall ones. Ooh, I wonder if I can get on top of that rock thing over there.
Where would you like me to set up this water thing? Do you have a spot you want it?
No, in the general vicinity of the. Ooh, there's a coconut.
I need 2 more of those pieces of grass. Oh, no, we have them. Okay, I got it. Never mind. I'm good.
I can't remember if this is in the
Look at
Apocrypha
those
or if
physics.
it's in the Bible. But
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
I think there's a proverb that says, like let your praise come from another man's lips and not your own, or something like that. I think that's in Proverbs.
Oh yeah, we read that one before you came in.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. And then we were talking about how, you don't want to sit at the head of the table if it's not meant for you, because that would be really embarrassing.
It's not.
All right. Our water still is built and stilling, so there should be some fresh water very shortly.
Well, this game actually has decent physics.
To carry really giant things. I'm gonna save real quick so I don't freak out.
No, like I knocked a tree down and it was leaning against a branch and it kind of teeter-tottered, seesawed.
Can you put up that quote from Mana, Jeremiah 9? Jeremiah 9. Oh, I thought that was the verse. Mana, can you post the actual verse so we can put it on the screen? These are my rocks.
I thought of a verse. There's one that talks about boasting, but it's kind of it's kind of a weird verse. But it talks about in James or something like that. It says, men boast and say, we will go do this over here and go do that or whatever, and make plans and all that sort of thing. And it talks about how what you should say is that if God wills, that we will go do that. But like talks about man boasting in his plans, like, and he doesn't know the future, and that like, if God wills it, then you will be able to do those things. But you need to take in consideration, like, that if it be according to God's will or something, I don't know. But it talks about that. It talks about boasting in your plans and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. That was definitely even a part of our prayers when we didn't know what God wanted us to do, like before the guild existed. And it was really nice because we were all just in this same place of like, well, that's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. We better stop and pray about it because who knows if we're headed in the right direction? Only God. And so that's what we did. And we just kept doing that over and over and over, and it just kind of grew. It was pretty awesome. I've never had been a part of something like that up until that moment, which is kind of sad considering how long I've been in the church. I think sometimes we would pray that way, but I wouldn't say that it was same. There was just something different. I think maybe it's because everybody was in the same like mode. There wasn't like one person that was in disagreement. Does that make sense? Like everybody was in alignment. There was nobody that was separate.
Well, the Bible says there is wisdom in a multitude of counselors. That's what it says. Or a multitude of counselors or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's a proverb.
I like it.
I like that too. Okay. We are now able to put those on the screen. One is Jeremiah 9:23. Oh, you did it. Okay. Now I got to toggle back. Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. And Jeremiah 9:24 says, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. You know, all the ifs are a little bit much for my brain. I'm going to jog over to those real quick in a different version. Let's see.
Oh, hey,
I
there
wish
you are.
I wish there was a modern translation that used the Textus Receptus, because I know I trust those manuscripts better, but like the other translations are so easy to read that I prefer reading them. But,
Yeah, we had that discussion way back a few months ago on the Guild, didn't we?
About translations or
Yeah.
text?
Okay, so but those who wish to boast should boast in this alone, that they truly know me and understand that I am the Lord, who demonstrates unfailing love and who brings justice and righteousness to the earth, and that I delight in these things. I, the Lord, have spoken. Yeah, that makes more sense. So that was the NLT. I was just going to glance at it in the Amplified.
But I think it's good to use multiple translations. I think that's the best way to read
me
the
too.
Bible. Is not to
Me
have
too.
one translation that you rely upon.
Yeah, I always have like 3 that I'm using at the time, that I toggle back and forth between. Lately, I've been doing the Amplified, the Complete Jewish Bible, and the NLT for the most part. The part that trips me up in the Complete Jewish Bible is it has all of the
Hebrew names.
Yes, and I have a really hard time with those, so I have to like toggle back and forth literally to pull all that together in my brain, because that's just how my brain is wired.
They have something called parallel Bibles, which are like multiple Bibles set side by side.
I want one so bad.
I don't have one, but I think they're massive. Like they got to be massive.
They are really thick, and I've been eyeing 2 of them for quite some time, but I cannot decide which one I really want, because neither of them are the exact combination I would choose. So I have to just like choose one and go with that. I like the ESV too. I do use that quite a bit. Manispell says, I like the KJV, NLT, and ESV. I'm trying to help our friend Ernie get here.
I actually like the language of the KJV. I just have trouble understanding it. Like I think it sounds pretty, but it's just hard to understand.
There's some verses. Cool, yeah, it does sound cool. There's some verses that, unless I'm by myself and really focusing and it's quiet and everything, then I can read it out loud and it will make sense to me. But I have to really, really be focusing, and that would be impossible while I'm online and streaming and trying to do 3 things at once.
Oh, our friend Ernie, I think he's wondering about the code for the actual game, not the stream.
Oh.
So
okay.
It's not a multiplayer game, unfortunately.
Let's try. I'm going to copy it over to him.
That'd be fun if it was. It's funny how these sticks just kind of pop out of this driftwood.
I'll be right back.
Basically like mining sticks.
It's so dark. Is the sun coming up soon? I'm just looking at our stream and we have this really dark stream. I promise it's lighter on my stream, but
Yeah, and you can't see mine. I wish we could.
we have like no lights right now.
I'm on a different computer. I don't know if it's worth me streaming.
No.
Probably have to come back, you guys. Unload my cache.
Your cache of stuff.
Yeah. I think I'm almost there.
Ernie says he's going to try it. So we'll see what happens. Should go this direction. It's like the moon is finally going down. I feel like nights are so long. Woo.
Yep.
When
Oh.
it's daytime, I want to swim again. All right. Come on, moon, go away. Sun, come up, please. Wait, if the moon's there, that means the sun's going to come up on the other side of the hill. So we'll go over there so we can watch the sun come up. Wait, it's too dark. I can't see. I often feel like, and wait, I don't want to fall. I know there's like a chasm there. I'm going to fall if I don't have light. I do feel like in my lifetime when I'm thinking about it, which is one of the questions, the study questions. So I'll ask it to everybody before I say this. What accomplishment has brought you the most praise and recognition? Can you admit to finding subtle ways to let others know about it? So that's a good question. And the other good question is, when you consider your successes, to what extent have you battled pride? What exactly did or do you do to keep it out of your life? Well, I can tell you how I keep it out of my life, at least I attempt to, is to constantly remind myself that I do not have this ability alone. It is not my ability. There's no way in my mind I could do any of those things. Like, there's just no way that would happen. So that's how I battle it. And I think the other way too is the Psalms are really good. The Proverbs too, about reminding you where these abilities come from in great detail and in great wonder. And I think the Psalms create a mentality of awe that we need very badly to focus on, and to what happened to you. We can't see you.
It's funny. Like I was cracking up a coconut, and there was a second one next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I opened the first one, the other one flew up and hit me in the head.
Hey, you got to remember to refill this still, bro.
I did, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, you did. There's just nothing to drink.
Yeah, I was down to like 1 bar.
So I was talking about awe.
Awe.
What helps create awe for you? Like, how do you keep that mentality of awe so that you do not become puffed up?
One thing that I do is like I don't know, sometimes like I'll think things and be like, I'll like credit something to myself, or think like, oh, that was really smart, or this that was awesome, or whatever, I did something, whatever. Then I just have to stop myself and be like, there's only one. So that's like the saying that I say to myself, that like all that is good and all that is perfect, and every good thing comes from God and all that sort of stuff. And I say there's only one, because all glory goes to God. That's sort of like there's only one to who all glory belongs, and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I say there's only one. That's my
The Psalms helps to keep that awe in me. And I think when we hold on to that awe of God and just be amazed, in his work all the time, it's really difficult to become puffed up because you're not focusing on you ever. You're focusing on the one that made you. And so when you start to do that, it becomes a habit and you're constantly looking for things that have created that in you, like his creation. I really like the verse that says, you knew me before I was in my mother's womb, because it reminds me that he knew me. He had chosen me before I even existed as a human. I was a thought in his mind, and I like that. It makes me really feel like I'm truly one of his children. I am one of his heirs, and I am blessed in that. And existing at such a time as this, I think, is another thing. With the things going on overseas and the war that is going on over there, when we have friends that are there, especially, it's tough, and it's made me examine a lot of our wars throughout history, even wars I didn't know about. Like the other day, I was reading about wars in China, which is how the Great Wall became the Great Wall of China. And
Right.
I had never read about those before. And I was reading about the magnitude of loss that happened, like human loss that happened. And it's really wild considering how far back these go. And I was just like, wow, Lord, and you didn't come then, and you still haven't come. It's really baffling to me. And it's kind of hard for my brain to wrap around that. But then I started to think of all the things that he had done and that he had already brought to reality. And I was thinking about even the Great Flood, right, that was recorded in Genesis. And the Israelites, even though they kind of screwed up their own miracles in the process, but, Samson, what a miracle. I mean, to have the amount of faith that he had to not cut his hair. Every time I cut my hair, I actually think of Samson.
Oh, that's funny.
Because I'm always just like, this is such a thing that I get so frustrated with my hair. Maybe it's just a female thing, but I'm just like, oh, I can't stand it. I have to do something. And he was very patient. He must have been. Otherwise, he would not have. He would have cut his hair way earlier.
Right.
I mean, Delilah would have never even come into the picture because she wasn't, a part of that. Okay, what am I at? Okay,
I always wonder how long his hair was. It says he has 7 locks. So, like, some people think he had dreadlocks. So, like, maybe he did. Because that's, like, the only way you could keep your hair from being too long. Like, he had to have dreadlocks.
I'm sure he did. There is a movie, and that's how they depict him. Black with dreadlocks. And I like that because I think that's probably pretty more accurate to the type of humans that existed in that part of the world then. Just because the amount of sun and the elements,
Oh, we got a lot of wood to procure over here.
Yeah, I've chopped down some of the tall ones so I could get the palms because I want to collect the palms, but
Indiana Jones.
Oh, do I need to go save so we don't lose our progress?
That'd be a good idea.
Okay, I'm running over there now.
No, it's funny. The some of the physics are funny, and
like me right now with my kinetic, or no, what do they call that? Telekinesis? Yeah.
Telekinetic tire.
Yes.
So
tall tree.
It says that Samson killed 1,000 Philistines with a donkey's jawbone. But actually, I saw somewhere that, like, people would actually make weapons out of donkey's jawbones, like these little blade things and stuff like that. So it wasn't he like just randomly had a donkey's jawbone. Like, it was actually like probably a weapon he had. So it's pretty cool. Because I thought he
Yeah.
just grabbed it out of nowhere and just like killed people. But it was
When you-
actually
when
a
you-
weapon.
When you read it as a kid, that is what you think of, isn't it? But when you see the archaeology that exists about that, it's a lot easier to. Why can't I grab this tire? It is a lot easier to see how that is such a. Man, I cannot grab that tire. Okay. Oh, come on. No. Why can't I grab it? Okay, fine.
Huh,
I'm
that's a
going.
fake log.
Oh, hey, there's clay over here. How do you get clay?
Oh, maybe you need a pickaxe or something.
Well,
Where
I
are
don't know. I've never harvested clay before, but it seems like that would be a pretty cool item to have.
Ooh,
Okay.
there's a boat.
I better go up for air.
Where are you at?
I'm way out here.
Oh, you're at the boat.
I'm gonna dive down because there's another deeper boat. Oh, there's buoys. Oh, and there's a wood container. Oh, buoys are floating up. Can you swim out and come collect buoys with me?
I
They-
can.
They
Let
will drift
me-
away.
All right, let me quick empty my pockets.
I'm going down for another wooden crate. Oh,
So
there's two wooden.
I'm trying to think of Bible verses that have to do with boasting. I could just look them up, like do a Google search. But one of the things I thought of is like it says the 6 things the Lord hate, like 7 are abomination. And one says a haughty look, so that's kind of like attached, kind of related to boasting, like a haughty look. Although I'm not sure what that entirely means, like a prideful dress or something like that, a haughty look. I don't know.
Oh, the buoys are floating out to sea. We're missing them.
Oh, hold on a second.
We're
You're at the
gonna
big
miss
boat,
them.
right?
No, I'm out to sea.
Oh, I see ya. I'm coming.
But they will suddenly just disappear if they float out too far. No, I got them now. Go. Do you want to go dive and try to go get that other? There's one more crate down there. This is a really pretty area over here, actually.
Uh-huh. I'm not seeing it.
It's in that boat. Deep. Deep. It's like in the cab part of the boat. Don't die, please. Come up for air.
It's funny how there's like clipping going on or whatever. Oh, okay, I see it.
Let's see. What have we got?
Oh, I see. There's a.
I look forward to Tuesdays so much, my friends, because we get to play a game all together, whoever comes, and then we also get to do a Bible study together, and they're always fun. We also have Bible studies on the server every Sabbath.
Yeah,
and
you guys should totally join us.
Everyone is invited. We all kind of rotate. There's a massive rotation that's going, so everybody gets a chance to teach. Which is super fun. We actually just did oh, I did not mean to drink. I meant to add. Oops. It was really interesting. I can't even go into it now. My brain has stopped. But it was mostly it was about reading the Bible in a more Jewish way. so that you get the whole meaning, the entirety of the meaning of everything. Yes, that'd be correct.
Okay. Let's see.
There's the Ephesians 2:8 that says, for by grace we are saved through faith, and not of our own works, lest any man should boast. So there's that one about boasting. I googled Bible verses about boasting, so
Nice.
I might come up with a few more.
Do it. I want to see. Ooh, there's a turtle. Hello, turtle.
Oh, you found another boat.
I found another boat and another container.
Okay, I got 2 containers.
Yay. We are containered.
We have been contained. Let's see what we got.
But over there is where the clay is, and I'd really like to figure out how to harvest the clay. That would be really cool. I think that the clay, I did get it once before, but I found a glob of clay, and I was able to make a thing that helped me make boards, and then I also made a fireplace. Or kiln? No, it was a kiln. It was not a fireplace. It was a kiln. So I think it's to make bricks. There are barrels over here too. We've got so much. We could actually make barrels and tires. We can make a pretty epic, proper raft. A huge raft. I'm going to get these other 2 barrels before they go out to sea. All right, I just grabbed you. Come on. Awesome physics. Oh, thank you. You even put it in the chat so I can put it on the screen. All right. But far be it from me to boast except in the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, by which the world has been crucified to me and I to the world. Galatians 6:14. Yes. Also, thank you for those of you that have already liked this video. Please do not forget to thumb up this video if you've enjoyed it, whether you're watching now or later. The majority of you all watch later, so I'm talking to you if you're watching later. If you're watching now, I can talk to you too.
That's right. We're talking to you, Chris, Bob, Steve, Johnny, Belinda, Stephanie,
Anna, Jessica,
Natasha.
I'm trying to think of popular names. Barry, John. I'm talking to you, John, and Jane.
Tarzan.
All right. We need to gather all of the barrels and tires and stuff and put them over in our area too. I'm going to go to the other side while it's still daylight though and see. Well, if I go up here to the top, maybe I can see if there's any more places that have good stuff out in the water.
I'm going to put these buoys in a crate, and buoys in a box of buoys.
Which the physics on that should not be a thing, but
yeah, I know, totally.
Totally are.
This is like
if I can swim.
A microverse.
Microverse. Oh no, it's already getting dark. I can tell in the water. No. Big fat fish. I believe that's called a grouper. So what do you call it when you're going away somewhere and it's a work trip, but you might do something that's kind of vacation-y on said work trip? What is that called? Because it's not a vacation. I mean, you're working the whole time. Like, you're working 90% of the time or 80% of the time you're awake. So what is that called, though? But you get to do something fun, like swim with fish. I don't know what that's called. Is it workation?
Oh.
I don't know.
Maybe?
Is that a word?
I don't know.
It's getting dark. Okay, so
So I found one.
what is it?
It's in Isaiah. I had to read the context. Let me write down the verse. It's Isaiah 10:8-15 or something like that.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, it's 10:15. But what's going on in this verse is God is talking about Assyria, that he's going to send and attack Jerusalem. He says he's going to attack Jerusalem as judgment. And he's going to empower Assyria to enact judgment upon Jerusalem for their apostasy, I think. And then he's talking about how, well, when Assyria does this to Jerusalem, it's going to say, Assyria, the king of Assyria is going to think that of how great he is, how he gathers up kingdoms like a farmer gathers up eggs, and, I'm so great and all that. But this is his response to, like, the king of Assyria, what he says. He's saying, like, your glory comes from me. Oh, it did it in two things.
Yeah, it does that sometimes. Yeah. Dangerous. Boasting is so dangerous. I feel like maybe it's one of those, not that there is very specific sins that let Satan in, but I wonder, and I've often wondered, is there sins that let Satan in easier? Are there sins that you can commit that are going to help Satan to bypass other parts of your more rational self?
Two that I would say that would do that is one, like getting involved in the occult would probably definitely be one, like an obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
But like also like anything that inhibits your mind to be able to function better, that's like drugs and that sort of thing would, like, because if your mind is not functioning properly, then you can easily be influenced to an easier degree just by the pure mechanics of the situation.
Okay, so let me throw this out here then. Because I've had a lot of surgeries and I was in the hospital for a month at one point in time, and I was so doped up. Like, there's most of it I barely remember, it's just, it would be impossible for me to remember all of that because of how doped up I was. So obviously I wasn't doing those drugs for pleasure, or to distract myself. I mean, I was really sick and in the hospital. So do you think that still could have, like, let Satan in to an extent, or in those kinds of situations, God is being more protecting of,
I would say, just my personal opinion is that God would probably protect you in that situation just because you're not necessarily doing this for, thrills and that sort of thing.
It wasn't
disobedient and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
so,
I wasn't setting out to be disobedient, you're saying.
Yeah. So, like, God would protect you when you're vulnerable, but if you're, like, willingly putting yourself in danger, then I think that's kind of different.
Yeah. I think that I can agree to that.
Yeah, there's stuff we do that, you have to do it. It's like,
oh yeah, all that medicine I was on saved my life. So, and I don't think they would have found what they found and how they were able to help me if it hadn't been for God intervening in those moments, you know. There was a fire thing around here. Do you know where that went?
The pit. Yeah, you're close to it.
No, not the pit. I'm looking for the thing to start the fire.
Oh, the fire ring.
I dropped it over here, and now I can't find it.
The kindling?
Yeah, the thing at Kindle. Where is it?
Maybe check in one of these boxes.
Oh, don't put it in a box.
Oh, here it is. It's in the top one over here.
Okay. I can't get in it because you're in it.
Try it again.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. I've put another fire thing down so we can light a fire. Oh, it's empty. It needs sticks. Can you put some sticks in? We need sticks.
I got sticks.
Sticks.
I have sticks.
Thank you. Okay. That'll give us some light, and then I put another one somewhere over here. Somewhere.
Light the fires of Mordor.
Okay, I don't know where it went.
Ooh, a rock.
Oh, there it is.
I can totally pick that apart. What am I at?
Yay.
And also, I mean, this is kind of off topic, but it's on topic of what we were talking about a second ago. I would say something that I do consider a sin. Some people may not consider a sin, but I would say one sin that would give Satan greater access to you, or something I consider to be a sin, is not guarding your heart, like not being careful with the things that you watch and listen to, because you're like literally just exposing yourself to errors of Satan and like the perverted media and all that sort of stuff when you're entertaining that sort of thing. So that's like just an obvious one, I guess you could say, that if you go seeking that out, you're gonna encounter it.
So you have a really unique perspective on that compared to some other people. So can you name some of those types of shows that you think would do that?
Well, I'm not saying like in a spiritual sense it would give you more access to you, but just like in the sense that like, you know, evil angels and good angels and God and Satan, all that sort of stuff is warring over people's hearts and minds. So like if somebody's under their influence and they're creating perverse media, like things with like extreme violence or sex or swearing or glorifying drug use and like all that sort of stuff, like you're coming under their influence of like that like negative influence in your life in that form of media. So like the people who created that are under the influence of Satan, so like their character has been shaped by the philosophy of Satan. So like so like they're creating media after the order of the philosophy of Satan and the way of Satan. So like that media they're creating has an influence on you. So like just the pure mechanics of you letting it in through your senses is having an influence on your character as well. And it can affect the way that you live your life.
Scary, sobering thought.
Need some lashing. Where's that lashing?
It still is full now.
But now that I look back at like my life and stuff like that, like I was definitely influenced by the media growing up, like the way that I chose to live my life when I was younger and the thoughts that I had and all that sort of stuff. I was influenced by the things I listened to and the things I watched and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, we all were. I won't say what show it was, but there is a show that I had watched when I was a teenager, and I saw that it was on one of those streaming things. And I was like, I have not seen that since I was probably 13. I'd really be curious to see what that's like. Like, is it what I remember? And I watched it. I watched all of it, you guys. I watched all of it. And every single episode I was picking apart. Like, oh, that's how that idea got into my brain. Wow, I had no idea. But like I was going into those episodes prayerfully and like just back and forth with God the whole time, just totally appalled and amazed at the same time. Like it really made me awake to how much I was influenced into pretty much my entire tenure as a teenager by one television show, you guys, one television show. So now imagine that you've got, 10 different shows you're watching, right? And your mind is in that state where you're really just starting to become aware of things in the world, and like, wow, Satan just really has dug into certain shows are especially bad. There was some shows that I have glanced at since then that I've seen come up on streaming that are older shows I watched, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that was kind of a good show. This one has a lot of good stuff in it, and then watching another one and just being completely, utterly just appalled by all of it is just it's kind of disgusting. I mean, I know we live in this time when we have it really easy. We really do. In most parts of the world, we still, even in the worst parts of the world, still have it easier than 600 years ago. So the times that we live in are still.
What do you mean by that?
So, because I've been digging into all this history of wars, like throughout time that has been recorded, and seeing how many different wars were going on, like simultaneously and throughout time. So since like recorded time, so like 1200, 1400 and forward. So when I'm looking at the things that were happening and the conditions that people were living in, the amount of illness, the amount of things, and then I'm even looking at like some of the places in the world that have like the absolute worst living conditions. Okay. Right now, the worst living conditions that exist in the world right now still have it better than that time that was so filled with war, that was so filled with disease. And I mean, the max that people were living, if you got to 40, you were considered old.
Yeah.
There's people in the worst poverty in the entire world that still live into their 60s, which means that their level of health is still better than back then. So that's when my comparison is coming in. I'm going by lifespan. And the average lifespan back then was, 20, 22, 25, 30, maybe max,
And people used to be shorter too and more frail.
Much shorter.
A lot shorter too. Yeah.
Which is due to nutrition, which improves with time, over generations. So the taller people got over time, that meant that they had better living conditions, better everything. Even if their diet was simple, they were still getting the necessary nutrients for the humans to prosper. Wow, that one fell a long way. I don't think that was even caught on camera.
Think about how back then how scary winter would be. Like that'd be really scary.
The entirety of your existence was prepping for winter. That was your existence, was prepping for winter.
Yeah, I mean, it's like no wonder people that was kind of part of the religion too, like the way that people worshipped the sun. And
yes,
it's like, oh, well, that makes sense if you're really worried about winter is coming,
Mm-hmm.
All the pagan festivals, and they have all these myths about sun gods and the harvest and all this sort of stuff.
That's what you'd really be worried about.
I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, I got a crab in the dark. What?
What?
Look, I did. I totally got a crab.
All right. We can totally build something nice now.
Oh, yes. I'm excited. Look at that. I'm going to try to get that one in the dark, too.
What do I have to do to get my level 2 up?
You just got to build something. Build a platform. Anything. Just build something.
Oh, I'm almost to level 2, I guess. I guess I haven't done much hunting.
I'm hunting right now.
I'll see if I can find another good verse.
Yeah, do that. Did I get it? Where'd it go? Where did it go? Oh, I got it. I got us some crabs.
Yay.
Yay.
Who wants a Krabby Patty?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've really been interested in history for a lot of my life, quite heavily, and always wished I lived in simpler times, and always wished I didn't have all these distractions and things. And I'm telling you, after this deep dive into wars of the world that have happened throughout time and the living conditions and the people, and I do not wish that anymore. That has just literally happened in the last couple of weeks. And I am just so grateful that I live right here and now. And I've never felt that way in my entire existence. So it's very different. It's very freeing, actually, to be content with where I am.
I found one,
yeah.
but you might have mentioned it already.
No, I haven't actually. My mind didn't go there, so thank you. You have all heard this verse, 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant. Ooh, that is a good one. Love does not envy or boast. Let's talk about that for a second, because there is, I know I've shared it with you guys on the guild a few times. And I know, Miss Sparkles, hello. So nice that you could join us. There is a poem that I really love, and let me get into the light so I can get to something you guys can see on the screen.
Anybody who's joining us just now, we are talking about boasting, the boasting tongue. We're still on our Tame That Tongue series. The ting, you tame the tongue ting.
Yes. So, love is really interesting. There is this really great poem that I love that is the Dying to Self poem that is just fantastic. It is probably my absolute favorite, and I'm gonna save real quick before I go grab this.
Please do.
Okay. Saved. Okay.
That's funny how it doesn't pause my session.
That's cool. We need some more wood in this fire. Okay, there, the wood is in. All right, now I can toggle over. And when I toggle, it doesn't stop for you?
Nope.
That is so cool.
Because we're not screen sharing.
I am going to pull up this poem as a link so that I can share it with you, because it's just incredible. It really was life-changing when I first discovered this poem like 3 years ago. This is actually called the Healthy Heart Challenge, and this is a part of something that God prompted me to do a few years ago. I streamed for 100 days straight, never done it before, had no desire to do it, and I did it by the grace of God. It was a real faith walk, let me tell you, just blind faith. And I discovered this poem at that time, and it was a part of this 100 days of prayer that I did, me and God. And it's just incredible. It really is the basis of love. Love is indirectly mentioned over and over again. So I'm going to read it. When you are forgotten or neglected or purposely set at naught, and you don't sting and hurt with insult or oversight, but your heart is still happy, being counted worthy to suffer for Christ, that is dying to self. When your good is evil spoken of, when your wishes are crossed, your advice disregarded, your opinions ridiculed, your best intentions misinterpreted, and you refuse to let anger rise in your heart or even defend yourself, but rather take it all in patient, loving silence, knowing that Christ alone is your defender, that is dying to self. When you patiently bear annoyance, disorder, inconvenience, irregularity, and even impunctuality from others, when you feel your time has been wasted and you've been treated harshly and unfairly, and yet you still respond in love, maintaining your peace and enduring these things with meekness as Jesus endured, that is dying to self. When you are unruffled with less than desirable accommodations, uncomplaining with meager food, difficult climates, rearranged travel schedules, when you maintain cheerfulness even though others are grumpy, when you are loving, kind, and attentive even to those who can do you no benefit by their association, when you remain calm despite interruptions to your agenda and plans by the will of God, that is dying to self. When you don't care to refer to yourself in conversation, when you don't feel the need to boast of your accomplishments and record every good deed you did for the world to see, which makes me think of the internet as we know it, when you don't itch after commendation and applause, when you don't mind when others are acknowledged and your name is ignored, when you are more concerned with being faithful to God's call, when you are okay to be unknown, that is dying to self. When you see your brother prospering, when you see him or her succeeding with a project that you contributed to, and yet you can honestly rejoice with him in spirit, being happy to remain behind the scenes, not questioning God, but being grateful that the work is being accomplished so that God is glorified, that is dying to self. When you can receive correction and reproof from one of less stature than yourself and can humbly submit inwardly as well as outwardly, finding no rebellion or resentment rising up within your heart, that is dying to self. And in these last days, the Spirit must bring us to the cross if we would be saved. And once we die on the cross, we will not respond in any slights against our human flesh any longer because dead people don't move. Philippians 3:10, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death. That is the poem, my friends. That is the dying to self poem. And I've had some people read this and go, oh, you're just being a doormat. Like, you should stand up for yourself. That's not a good poem. I'm like, well, you've just proved the point of why it's a good poem. Because if we were considering all these things, if all of us would go around considering these things, right? We wouldn't have some of the issues that we have today. And Galatians 2:20 also, I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ lives in me.
You're preaching now, sister.
I love that poem so much. It was life-changing, and I will totally be the first to admit I fail still at probably 80% of these things, 90%. I have not mastered hardly any of these, but I continue to try because I know it's going to make me a better person. It's going to make me better and more pleasant to be around. It's going to make me a better friend, a better wife, a better mother, a better daughter, all of these things. When I have these disagreements with friends and things, it's really difficult because most of it's unintended. Like, I don't intend for these things to happen, and it's really frustrating. And I get frustrated I'm frustrated with my inward self, like not my friends. Like, I'm frustrated that I have created the situation that is now developed because that was not my intention. So I'm like, wow, I've got work to do. And I'm open to letting that work happen. And I hope that you will take this healthy heart challenge and dig into it with me. I think if you just took like one line of that a week, and wrote out a phrase that's a positive phrase, like, I am not forgotten or neglected because I suffer with Christ. I am not insulted. I suffer with Christ. If you just took one of those points in this and found one and said, Lord, point me to the one I need to work on, you're going to get really far in your walk if you're struggling. And if you're even struggling to, I hear this one a lot, that people are struggling finding themselves. This is like a big one right now. What do I do with my life? Where am I going? What should I do next? Well, how have you been working on your inner self right now? Have you been focusing on that with your walk with God?
Okay, so hold on a second.
Okay.
This is so frustrating. I made this raft, and it's.
Where are you? I
I'm
can't
out in
even
the middle-
save.
I'm out in the middle of the ocean. I'm trying to bring it back to shore.
Oh, I
And
think I
it's-
see you.
It's not really letting me.
Okay, let me see if I can get to you and help you.
And
Yeah,
I need
I'm
water.
coming. Okay. I see you. Why don't you swim to shore?
So I wrote something that has to do with boasting, and it was like a little saying, but it said if there's anything worthy of being proud of, or if there's anything that you think there's worthy of being proud of, that's probably something you should be giving God glory for.
Yeah.
So like, if you think you've done something that's worthy of being proud, you should be giving God glory for that thing that you did, because He's the one who helped you do it.
All right, I'm here. Would you please go to shore? You've got to build these on. Go get some water. You've got to build these on land. You don't do it in the water.
I know. I pushed it out. I wanted to see if I could ride it and float it like a surfboard.
No, because there's no top on it.
Oh, I don't know how that works.
You have to build a top. This is just the base. This is not the standing bit. You have to build the top of it. The floor, you know.
Well, thank you so much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Please go drink some water.
I'm gonna pass out or something. I can't see my watch.
Are you still swimming?
Yep.
We have survived 6 days. Oh, I see you. You're almost ashore. Go drink. Quick, quick. All right, so there's my healthy heart challenge for you all. Also, I'm going to read this quote that is in the same document that is added by Ian Thomas. The Christian life can be explained only in terms of Jesus Christ. And if your life as a Christian can still be explained in terms of you, your personality, your willpower, your gift, your talent, your money, your courage, your scholarship, your dedication, your sacrifice, your years of service, your accomplishments, your degrees, your intellect, your anything, then although you may have lived that Christian life, you are not yet living it as God intended. Which goes back to, are we praying that we live within that will? Like, you know, when we set up all of our, anything that we want to do, you know, accomplish, are we saying it, Lord, if it be your will? Because if we don't, we are fooling ourselves that it is God's will.
Hey, where'd you put that raft?
It's right over there to the left of all the, well, looking out at the water to the left of all the other side. There you go. All right, I'm going to cook us some crab. It's right here. It's right here. I'm standing next to it.
So how do you put these together? I'm curious.
Let me cook this crab before it spoils.
The crab ragoon, Father.
Did you
The crab
refill
ragoon.
did you refill all the water you drink?
I can refill it.
Thank
But
you.
we can make a buoy ball raft base.
Yes, that's what I would have done versus what you did.
Well, we've got enough sticks and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, Can we connect the two when we make them?
No, you have to make a base.
You can't connect more than one?
No.
No.
It goes like, I haven't done this in a while. Okay. So let me look at the crafting building thing. Vehicles, raft. Okay, so you build the base. Yeah, you wasted a lot of sticks, but thankfully we can take it apart. Okay, so we take
Got my
like
crafting up.
5 buoys or 2 tires, and we can connect them. And then you build the base on top of that, the floor. That's where all the sticks come in. So it takes 4 sticks to do that. And then you also have to build your sails and your rudder to steer. So we have to build sails, and I've never built an anchor, but maybe once. And most of the time what I've done in the past is just pull it to shore so it won't float away, because otherwise it definitely will float away. And I did get stuck on an island once and had to restart from where I was.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was
Well,
not enjoyable.
It is almost 9:30 here.
Yeah, let's save.
And
We're at a good stopping point anyway with the poem, and I'm starting to get hoarse because I did training today too.
Tiny little horse. Where's my water anyway? I had some water. So we've got enough stuff to build some stuff. So that'll be next time.
Yes. Krabby
So-
Patty unlocked. Oh, this is a custom island.
Who
We can't
wants a Krabby Patty?
cooked small meat. Would you like a meat before we go? Here, drop one for you.
I had a ration, so to get my
Oh,
strength back up. So
well, I will eat that then,
You
and I'm
can
gonna
have all
drink
this
this so that I can.
it's
be-
raining. It's a rainy day, so let's save our pennies.
I'm replenished. Let me refill this before we save and leave. Well, that was a really nice study. I'm so glad that I'm really enjoying this book. Also, if you did not see in the description, we actually dropped the link to the author's website. So if you want to pick up the book, you absolutely can, and join us in this quest to taming that tongue. Yeah, that's all I got. Anything else, sirs?
Can I go in the little shelter? No, I can't.
No. You can crouch down and look inside. And look at the... Oh, hey, you can look at the camera by doing that. Too bad you can't wave. All right. Toggle out of this. Yay. All right. Friends,
saved.
countrymen, come join us in the Discord Landria of land that's far away.
Oh, you are disconnected.
In the wilderness of the interwebs. Join us at oneaccordtheguild.com. Join our Discord. Come to Bible study. Hang out with us. Learn about yourselves. Learn about God. We've been doing an awesome series. Then we've got the role of mastermind now, and I'm going to leave you to come join us to figure out what that is.
Dun, dun,
So-
dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes, it's really good. We've got one more that we're doing with Mastermind, and really excited about that. All right. God bless you all, and good night.
Buenas noches.
That was your...